Okay, guys. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fan Stands with me, Mohsin. And this time, I am about to go live again on my own without my teammates, and we have a very special guest with us. Assalamu alaikum, Mr. Shahid. Assalamu alaikum. Mr. Shahid, can you hear us? I think we've lost connection. So before I think Mr. Shahid joins us back again, so we're going live and with a very special guest. So the talk of the weekend has been Liverpool winning the league after 30 years, and we're going to have opinion of someone who's been supporting the club for a very long time. He's one of the founding members of the Pak Reds team. Winning the title, how it felt to Liverpool winning the title. So let's hope we can connect with Mr. Shahid again and waiting for him to connect. I think we've lost him again. So we have these issues with technology, unfortunately. So let's see. I think we have Shahid. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Hello, Mohsen. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
It's a little bit choppy. I'm just trying to correct it.
Okay. Okay. Shahid sir, can you hear and see me?
Slightly better.
It's better. Okay. So should we start? I think have some connectivity issues over there. We have some connectivity issues again, so we'll have just be waiting for Mr. Shahid to. Please. We've lost the guest again. Connectivity issues again. So let's see. So, the show must go on till the guest comes back. As I was saying that Liverpool has won the title. It's been the talk of the week so far. Hey Liverpool, that is the news echoing around everywhere because they've won the title after 30 long years. And 30 long years of suffer. A lot of things have changed in football around the world as well, and this would not have been possible for a lot of factors. And we're hoping for Mr. Shahid to join us so we can have his views on this. Assalamu alaikum, sir. Can you hear and see me? Still have some connectivity issues. So let's just waiting for this to get sorted out.
Mohsen, can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir. Can you hear and see me now?
Yeah, I think so. I hope it stays stable.
Yeah, I hope it does. So, Mr. Shahid, welcome to the show. The name of our channel is The Fan Stands, and I apologize for calling you on a very short notice, but I'm really grateful
No
and thankful
problem.
you can join us.
Sure,
So,
thank
Mr.
you.
Shahid, we're a new channel. We just started this with this video thing a couple of months back. So I'm sorry if you don't get a very professional feeling from my side. My team is not here,
No problem.
unfortunately. It's the weekday work from home. Everything is hectic. But I'm a Liverpool fan and they're Manchester United fans, so it's good they're not here. They couldn't handle handle the joy. Mr. Shahid, I'll just jump straight to the point. Tell us about yourself and the very next question after you give an introduction, how does it feel? What is your
Sure.
reaction? Liverpool winning title after 30 years.
I've been a Liverpool fan since around 1980, and uh, I was born in Scotland, so my connection to Liverpool was through Hansen, Dalglish, and Souness. My father was working in Liverpool at the time when I was born, and so all my life I've been a Liverpool fan, a very big one. And I moved back to Pakistan in 1984, and then went to college, came back in 1986, and I've been here since then. So in around 11 years ago, 10 to 11 years ago, Noshran Effendi approached me and we both co-founded the Pak Reds. It's been very successful for us and we host the screenings here in my house. You can see we have a bit of a room here and we screen the matches here almost every single match. If I'm in Lahore, if I'm traveling with work, then sometimes my children screen it, but we usually have around 40 people, 50 people on average, and sometimes even a couple hundred when it gets really, really busy. We also hosted Ian Rush on his visit to Pakistan here. So it's kind of, this is the hub for all Liverpool fans in Lahore. And then, of course, from Karachi and also from Islamabad, sometimes they drive down and watch the matches here. Like I said, I've been a Liverpool fan all my life. I traveled to watch the team almost all my life. So I've been to, mashallah, all four of the Champions League finals this century, and to numerous other matches as well. For me, how do I feel? I feel incredible. It's like, this 30 years is a long time. There's a lot of doubt that started entering into us whether we would ever happen. I think one of the low points was the defeat earlier to Watford, not this one. The 3-0 defeat we had earlier to Watford when Klopp had just come in, and I felt that, even Klopp can't solve it. The Houllier and the Benitez reigns, there were 5 years is a long time to give managers, and Liverpool do give managers a long 5 years, but they both came tantalizingly close. And when you say 30 years, I tweeted about this. I said, it's very easy to say 30 years, but if you live through it, every single second of it, every single day of it, it's a long time. And some Liverpool fans who are my age have actually gone through it. And there's a lot of emotions as well, because for me, I always felt that Hillsborough caused Liverpool's decline because it's what led to Dalglish leaving suddenly. And that, in my opinion, was the catalyst for the decline in Liverpool. And I always felt that despite winning the Champions League a couple of times and the treble that Julia did, I just felt that the league had to be won to, I don't want to say so that the people could rest easily, but so that the fans who were part of that process could feel that the chapter has been turned. And every year in April, when we would have the anniversary for Hillsborough, and we hadn't won the league since 90, since Dalglish's resignation, it really hurt. I mean, I still feel pain about the defeat in 91 when Liverpool were leading the league and they lost to Luton the weekend after Dalglish resigned and Ronnie Moran took over, and it was he couldn't handle it, and then we lost the cup as well. That was very painful. That was a league title that was in Liverpool's hands all the way up until 1996. I thought Liverpool were in it. And then when they signed Collymore was the first year that I felt that Liverpool were on the background. The Cantona goal was what really took Liverpool, that put Liverpool back. That killed Liverpool. That match was up for grabs, that FA Cup final. In those days, the FA Cup final was a big deal. And it was against United. And to lose that match really hurt. And that put Liverpool back a few years as well. And then, we've all been through the history, the dual managers. I'm talking in those days with McManaman, with Redknapp, with Barnes was still doing the job, with Rush, with Collymore. We still had a very good team. We could have won the league a couple of times, even in the mid to late 90s as well. I know that was
Yeah,
a
I mean
long answer, but I get very
Those,
emotional
those
talking about Liverpool.
I can see that, and I can feel you. You know, I've been a Liverpool fan for 17 years, and I've just turned 30 now, so I haven't been through the pain you have. So I can totally feel it. But you know, I've read through the history, and it's a very emotional one. It's something you can get attached to. You know, the 90s, the British pop era, the Spice Boys. So I'm sure you have someone experienced like you foresaw the decline coming. And then the transfers in the early 2000s. I mean, with all due respect, Arsenal signed a talent like Thierry Henry. We signed Emil Heskey. So I'm sure there was, with all due respect, I mean, you know, we were lacking somewhere. But let's just talk about the 2000s. I mean, when I started watching, so I think we have them online. Yeah, Shahid Sab, can you hear me?
I'm trying to move to a place where I can hear your question more clearly.
Okay, okay. Is it fine now?
Can you try to repeat it? Or actually, can you try to type it out for me?
Try to type this thing on my own cell phone as well. Let's see what I can do. Can you hear me? It's not. Let's see what. Can you see my question?
I think can you hear me, by the way, Mohsen?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, sure. I think that the difference is between what they were able to do and what Klopp was able to do. I think Julia was very close, and I think the heart attack really affected him in a bad way. And the signings didn't work out, whereas Klopp has been lucky with his signings, and he's used a lot of modern science to study the players that will fit in with Liverpool. With Benitez, we all know that the friction between ownership and the manager is not a good recipe for success unless you have an overriding amount of money to overcome that. So if you look at Chelsea, they're able to overcome the friction that the manager has because they just pour so much money into it. They have a lot of failed signings, Chelsea do. And that's not a blueprint that Liverpool have been able to follow because they did not have the benefactor. With regard to Rafa, he had an amazing team. He had everything working for them. There was a little bit of bad luck and not having the backup. Losing Alonso was a seminal moment for Rafa. It was one of the worst mistakes. We knew right there and then that was the end. We were back. When the minute we sold Alonso, I knew we were going to be set back for 5 to 6 years. It was a terrible decision, and obviously we weren't able to harness the team correctly. With regard to Julia, I think that his heart attack caused him some issues. And then the quality of the Premier League was quite high at that time. And Liverpool were still modernizing themselves. Klopp is using science. He's doing detailed backup reconnaissance on these players before he signs them. There's no failures anymore when Liverpool sign a player because they do such a deep dive into the character of the player. And for Liverpool, they have to do a good job when they sign players, but they don't have an overriding amount of money. And of course, now they do have more than before. But Moore's ran out of money. Hicks and Gillette invested initially, but they didn't give the right amount. And then there were some missteps as well. But Liverpool in the early 90s, they signed John Scales, they signed Mark Wright, they signed Dean Saunders. They were spending, they signed Stan Collymore. They were spending a lot of money, but there was an element of luck involved, but as well. But Klopp is a unique manager. I mean, he is the best manager in the world by far. And Liverpool were lucky that he has that character that he wanted to take on the challenge. So he was never going to go to take the easy way out because of his history with Borussia Dortmund. It's just, look, sometimes you fit. If you look at United and Ferguson, he got lucky with equalizer from Mark Hughes to make it 3-3 against Crystal Palace, and then the winner by Lee Sharp, and then he just rode the momentum. He did a fantastic job of renewing his teams, but it was a good fit. United with Gill and with Ferguson. For Liverpool, Klopp, being the type of manager who has worked with a committee before, it's well documented, and being the type of manager who is a socialist and fits into the Liverpool ethos of the city, it's just a great fit. And sometimes that is what matters. Rafa was also a very, very good fit for Liverpool, by the way. His family still lives in Liverpool. However, that was a really bad time for Liverpool with regard to Gillette and Hicks and the ownership and the upheaval. We were just lucky to have players like Agger and Gerrard who made the team, who overcame that. But ultimately, look, it's the whole world can see it, that we're just lucky we have the best manager in the world. And we are going to have the momentum with us until we have the manager and until the ownership backs him and he and the committee are on the same page. So like I was reading, it's very interesting that Klopp wanted Julian Brandt, but the committee wanted Salah. So from our perspective, we got very lucky. But that just shows his ability to listen and his ability to trust the committee. So Werner, I guess Liverpool wanted him, but we have to wait and see what they decide with. But I think Liverpool are going to go with youth. I think they're going to go with Nico Williams. I think they're going to go with Curtis Jones. I think they're going to go with Harvey Elliott. I think they might even go with Ryan Brewster. I don't think Liverpool are interested in signing that many players. But we as fans kind of think that Yasser Larouci is not ready to replace Andy Robertson if anything goes wrong. And if you saw in the Everton game, Milner is a great player. His leadership is precious for us. But at the same time, we lost that drive down the left wing, and against Palace, Robertson was a revelation. He's probably the man of the match. So we need to have a backup for our left back, and I think that should be the number one priority for Liverpool to when they look to go into the transfer market.
So, who is your favorite player from the current squad right now?
Ooh, that's very, very difficult to answer. But really, more than favorite, the most precious player is Virgil van Dijk. He's the one who made the difference. We had a great team before as well, and we were leaking goals. Like, people think, oh, Van Dijk doesn't have to do anything. The midfield protects him. But the truth is, Van Dijk is the difference maker.
Yes. And another tough question: who should be Liverpool's player of the season? I mean, a lot of debate on that. Should it be Mane? Henderson surprisingly makes the list, and then Van Dijk, Salah. Who is your player of the season? And again, I'd like to add one thing. Henderson, to be honest, for me, we've been doing this video for almost 6-7 months now. There's a video of me. Unfortunately, I said bring in a new midfielder. Henderson goes on the bench, but the guy's proven me wrong. So how has Henderson improved, and why should he be the player of the season?
Look, for Liverpool's player of the season, it has to be Mane. The look in Mane's eyes from the first day of this season has been one in which he will not be conquered. And by the way, I have read some reports in which they are starting to compare his trajectory of his career to that of Cristiano Ronaldo's. Okay? And look, Mane got upset at Burnley, right? Okay, he got upset at Burnley, and we all got a little bit on the back foot. The egos all again. No, Mane knew that goal difference matters. He knew that goal difference matters. He was thinking so far ahead. So I feel that he had I will not be denied element to him above and beyond anybody else. I worry because the Ballon d'Or is very important for him. If you saw his New Balance documentary, I really hope that Liverpool are able to hold off Real Madrid when they come for Mane. He's the only one that might that they would come to poach. Everybody, but luckily for Liverpool, they're reaching this zone where all their players are 28 to 30. You can't spend 100 million pounds on those players. And we have the clause with Barcelona that they have to pay double. So if they want to come for Bobby, who's also probably one of the most precious players as well, then they have to play more than the market rate. So we're kind of protected. I really hope we can keep the team together. With regard to Henderson, he's my daughter's absolute favorite player. So I'll show you, actually, if you can see. My kids have a picture. She had the opportunity after the Palace match to meet Dr. Zafar, Dr. Iqbal, who's the Palace head of medicine. He used to be with Liverpool, and he also helped Pak Reds become affiliated with the club when he was there. he gave us the opportunity. He said your kids can meet any player, and they didn't choose Salah or any best. My daughter said I want to meet with Henderson because she's always been a massive Hendo fan. The thing is, Hendo, how did he overcome this? There's just a determination in Henderson and Milner that is above and beyond. And that leadership has really helped us. So you were talking about the 90s, and I was thinking about this myself earlier today, because it's all we think about nowadays is Liverpool, is that there was a little bit of a lifestyle thing going on. Razor, Ruddock, Fowler, they would enjoy the nights out as well. And that was a time when football was becoming I don't want to say Spice Boys, but football was popular, and they would go. Henderson is a monk. He doesn't drink. Milner's a monk. They don't drink. They are 100% committed to the leadership. They're not on social media saying, okay, Milner cracks a few jokes here and there, but they're not on social media. They don't have their own lines. They're not making clothes like some players of other clubs I don't want to mention. Nazir Lagjagi. The thing is, but these guys are the epitome of leadership. And look, City won the league 4 times in the last 10 years. That's because they had leadership from Silva. They had leadership from Company. They had leadership from Aguero, guys who are committed to their craft. Henderson and Milner are committed to the craft, and that's why they gave Milner the extra contract. And that is critical for Liverpool to transfer that type of element of thought process onto Alexander-Arnold, onto the Naby Keita, if we're going to persist with him, onto the next mid-20s of our club, who would then transfer it on to Nico Williams and on to Harvey Elliott's. So there's a culture that Liverpool had in the 70s and 80s that now the Henderson and actually Milner deserve a lot of credit for bringing back, which is the dressing room being committed to victory. So it's the character. The short answer is Henderson has a special character.
Shahid, I'm sorry. This is a bit of unstructured. We have unstructured format because we're going live. So we have a question from one of our newest member on the team. He's asking, Coutinho's possible return to Liverpool, is it welcome by the fans? I mean, someone like you who's very experienced, do you think that is a possibility? And if yes, would you welcome him back with open arms?
Look, there are 2 elements of this: on field, off field. On the field, Liverpool need Coutinho. Liverpool have one weakness right now, and that is the low block that Simeone played against them. That basically 11 behind the ball. It's 11-0. The whole team is back there, and it becomes a little difficult to break them down. Now, we weren't able to do it against Atletico and away from home. We weren't able to do it against Everton, and for the first 30 minutes against Palace, we played with so much zip. We were playing incredible, but we still didn't score until we got a set piece. You go back to the United game. We controlled the match. Guess how we scored the first goal? A set piece. And sometimes Mane and Salah will get you that goal. Sometimes Bobby will get it. He got it for you against Spurs, who were also parking the bus, by the way. He got it for you against Palace away, who were parking the bus, by the way. So, but the thing is, City are beating teams by 4-0, 5-0, because they have that extra bit of silk and creativity, the dexterity of the hips of Silva and Bernardo Silva. We need that in midfield. But the other problem is, you tell us you have a backache, and you ruin our opening game against Watford with our new signing Salah, and put our season at stake. And okay, we didn't expect to get 97 points, but those 2 points could have won us the league. And he's telling us 3 hours before the match his back is aching. So it just depends. We need him on the pitch, and if we can get him for cut price, he fits in culturally. We got Fabinho, we got Firmino, we got Alisson. We bring in Coutinho. It makes everybody feel happier. We got Wijnaldum happy, Kijana Hover, Sap Vandenberg. We got Virgil. So we got a little bit of a Dutch scene going on, and we got the Africans getting happy. So you need this type of camaraderie, and Coutinho has played on the pitch. He knows what's required. He won't start all the time, but he can unlock some defenses for us. And if we can get him back on the cheap, I would take him back. But I think काफी punish कर लिया Klopp ने उसको.
I think but फायदा हुआ. I mean, Coutinho left. We got 140 million, and we got 2 world-class players in the form of Alisson and Van Dijk. And they've been a difference maker. I mean, with all due respect, Adrian, I mean, if we had Alisson against Atletico Madrid, we might have been
Sure.
in that in the Champions League. But it happens.
Yeah.
This is football. As long as we won the league, I wanted the league. All those banters and the strolls. It was becoming too hard for me. So, yeah, Mr. Shahid, which player? I mean, I know these are just random questions, but you're experienced enough to deal with my unstructured questions. If you could buy any player for the transfer market, which player have you identified personally? I mean, Werner was the one for me. He's gone. Havertz is another one. I don't think we'll get him. Which player? I mean, Coutinho. Rumors going on, but is there any other player you'd love to see at Liverpool?
Well, you see, this is a discussion that's going on a daily basis. Like I said, the left back is very critical for Liverpool. So we're talking either Chilwell, who won't sit on the bench, or Saka, who hasn't signed his contract, or Adam Lewis. I think it is the name of the player that they're looking at from Leeds as well. But I don't care what player it is. I need a left back. That's the first thing. The second thing I think is that Liverpool, if this is a rumor that's been going on for 48 hours, it was quashed today, the Koulibaly rumor. Now, the thing is, he's 29 years old. He's going to ask for big money. But the problem is we have to look at this as an option so that nobody else gets him. Koulibaly solves City's problem, gives United a boost. So it's the same as Pochettino. We don't want Pochettino, but we don't want United to get Pochettino. So we need Pochettino to go to Newcastle just because we don't want somebody else to have him. Likewise, Koulibaly, either he has to sign a new contract in Napoli, but he cannot land up at Manchester City and he cannot land up at Manchester United. That's a problem for Liverpool. With regard to who we should sign apart from that, Werner, I was interested. I liked him, but one of my sons is saying Adama Traore off the bench would be amazing for Liverpool.
I even think, I don't know Klopp personally, but I don't know why I feel Klopp likes him, and he'll probably go for Adama Traore. But let's see.
And so then Thiago Alcantara was a name that was out there as well. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, I have a question on my personal text. I don't know why my friend is feeling shy. He's asking that. Is Liverpool now going to become commercially stronger like Manchester United did in the 90s and 2000s because of the Nike deal? It's going to involve brand endorsements from Drake, the rapper, Serena Williams, as well as LeBron James, the NBA player, is also a Liverpool fan and has some shares in the club, I believe. So do you think the commercial element was also missing? And you're also managing this official supporters club in Pakistan. You'll see a lot of influx of I shouldn't say this word, low tire plastic fans coming into Liverpool now. So
look, without a doubt, Liverpool are a sleeping giant. Okay, without a doubt. They are so popular in Singapore and Malaysia and Indonesia, even in the worst of times, that there's no chance that they're not going to be successful. They're going to be very, very successful. Now, United have a lot of fans as well, mind you, okay? But Liverpool and United are right up there with Real Madrid and Barcelona as probably the 4 most popular clubs in the world. Now, you add into that the fact that our manager, we all know that, is a genuine human being. He cares about people, and he is truthful, and he has character. Our owners, they don't have some of the history that some of the other owners are carrying. I don't want to be judgmental, but we have a lot of character in Liverpool as a city. They're friendly people. They're Scousers. They have character. And we have history. So we have history going all the way to Shankly. And unfortunately, even our tragedies are part of our history. And they make us marketable, as crass as that sounds. But the point is that Liverpool attracts fans, and it should attract fans because it's a special club. Our anthem, the fact that we are not the number 1 commercial club in the world, and we still overcome. So there's a lot of attraction to Liverpool, and we play attractive football too. So I think that we're going to get a lot of fans, and we're going to get a lot of commercial tie-ups, and our owners are not going to make the mistake that was made earlier, which was in which you think that you're above that. Sorry, in this day and age, you're not above it. The global fan matters. We get humiliated daily on Twitter. Oh, you don't live in Liverpool. Oh, you don't live in England. This is other clubs' fans. But the truth of the matter is, we are the driving force behind what is going to be the difference between your club being unsuccessful and our club being successful. It's the Asian fans where the future of football is. the Chinese fans, the Indian fans, the Pakistani fans. So that has to be harnessed by the club, and they can't miss those opportunities, and they must make it marketable, and so that we can have good commercial success. So we can pay for Van Dijk, we can pay for Van Mane. These salaries matter. People only look at, one of my pet peeves is people only look at the transfer fee. The transfer fee is not what matters. The agent fees and the salary are what matters. Yaya Toure was on £275,000 a week 7 years ago. You want to compete with that? How can you compete with that? And then they can even bench him when he asks for a birthday cake. That's how much they can afford it. And look at Arsenal. Their player doesn't take a pay cut, and they're benching him, Ozil, because they want him to take a pay cut. That's the difference between a wealthy club and a club that is struggling. We have to be a wealthy club. With regard to Pak Reds, we have a lot of fans, and mashallah, very, very passionate fans. And I don't know if Noshran had told you this, but we took 25 fans with us to Istanbul for the Super Cup. And we also took 5 fans. The club gave us 5 tickets for the Arsenal game, the away game in which Salah scored the 2 goals, a home game in which Salah scored 2 goals, and Matip had the header, which we won 3-1. So we made 2 trips already this year. Of course, with COVID, that stopped, but we're hoping that the club continues to endorse us and that we can continue to make these type of trips. And we have a lot of fans, and we will attract a lot more of fans as well. And that's just great, because the more fans we have, the more we can bring some sort of figures from Liverpool to Pakistan and promote the game. And as we promote the game, that can spill over into promoting the game in the grassroots in Pakistan as well.
Interesting thing you mentioned about the COVID. Because of the COVID, unfortunately, this was a strange year. Liverpool coming close to the league in January. I don't want to be political, but World War III rumors going on. The COVID coming in. The most thing which makes me sad is playing in an empty Anfield, winning against Crystal Palace 4-0. Even Klopp was emotional about that. Then couldn't celebrate the title. I mean, it would have been a celebration to remember if there was no COVID, and I'm sure you would have been in Anfield, in Liverpool right now, I believe, if the COVID hadn't taken place.
Look, we waited a long time, and we've had a lot of close shaves, a lot of heartbreakers. We don't have to go through all of them. Makeda, Arshavin, losing to Coventry, so many heartbreakers, and then Company scoring, and then Gerrard slipping. So, just winning is good enough right now, and we will get an opportunity to do the parade whenever we're able to do it, like Klopp said. And I'm thinking something else. I'm thinking this might motivate the players to go back and say, you know what, let's win it again next year. Let's win it in our stadium next year, because we want consistency. Look, it's 2019. We're not going to rest until it's 2020 or even 21-20. That is a very important aspect in this whole thing. Of course, it's 6-3 when it comes to Champions Leagues, but we really need our team to gain momentum and to go back and do this again. It's not good enough to do it once. I'm sorry. The pressure remains, and it is, but with regard to COVID, really, we can't do anything. The whole world is going through it. And from our perspective, we're just so grateful that we won the league and we were able to complete the league that, what can we do? It's out of our control. I think there will be, I think we might be able to harness this. I tell people one thing. I said, this was the season to have a 20-point lead. This was the season. And whatever pent-up energy that our crowd has, it can use it next year, because we're going to need it, because that the crowd wins the games for us.
Definitely. We have another question. So, there was news that Wijnaldum wanted to leave. So, when Alcantara coming in for Wijnaldum, your views on that? Can you see the question on the screen?
Let me get my glasses on. Wijnaldum for some cash, would that be a good deal for as rumors heating up?
Because Wijnaldum wants to leave. There are rumors, before the restart.
Klopp, he lost Götze, he lost Lewandowski, he lost Hummels, and he lost Kagawa. So many you can't even mention it. For him, it's a big deal that his team isn't getting broken up. So I think he will still slant towards trying to secure the team, but at the same time, the owners aren't going to give Wijnaldum the big bucks. And it is Wijnaldum's last contract. So at sooner or later, one of them is going to say that I need to cash in, and Wijnaldum might go. But I'm more slanted towards, I think he's going to sign the new contract. That's what my gut is telling me. Is it a good deal to get Alcantara and in place of Wijnaldum? Liverpool is a team based on chemistry. Look, Andy Robertson is not Alcantara. Trent Alexander is not Alcantara. Even Fabinho, he's a great player, 40 million pounds, but Liverpool put him on a training schedule for 10 weeks, 12 weeks before they even let him on the pitch. So Liverpool is not a team that's going to be based on stars. It's going to be based on who fits the system. Now, if Alcantara ticks all those boxes, then it will happen. When it comes to the final decision about whether we should do it or not, I tend to leave it up to Klopp and Michael Edwards.
I agree with you. And the fun part is, the players themselves are, demanding that, I'd love to play for Liverpool. I mean, there was a time you couldn't get players to come to Liverpool. And interestingly, I know these are all rumors, but, just getting your insights. I mean, Mbappe said, I think this season, before Christmas time or something, he said, Liverpool are like a machine.
Look, when you mentioned earlier, emotion and then you mentioned earlier about the money for Coutinho being used for Van Dijk and Alisson, but I have my own angle on that. I think the owners have money. If you we made the Champions League final 2 years. Number one. Number two, we've won the league. We've been on the television the most in the last 2 years. Commercially, we're booming. There's money there. I sometimes wonder, where's this now? With COVID, they're saying they don't have the money and they didn't sign Werner for that. But I think there's enough money. There's a blockbuster coming. Let me put it to you that way. Is it Mbappe? I don't know. But I think Liverpool.
I hope so.
मेरे हिसाब के मुताबिक Liverpool के पास 150 million pounds पड़े हुए कोई ना कोई player खरीदने के लिए.
सही है. So I'm sorry, some questions I've already asked, but I want the fans to get involved. The name of the show is the Fan Stand, so you might have to repeat yourself. I apologize, but sure. Here's a question from another friend. I'll just read it out for you. Any striker winger coming to your mind if Salah or Mane when they're injured? Because often we've seen Salah and Mane, Salah especially, कभी-कभी नहीं खेल पाता है. Season काफी he was missing, and Mane पे बहुत load आ जाता है. So Adama की हमने बात की. Anyone else you see who fits in? Harvey Elliott, I think it's too young right now. He's not even 18 yet.
Yeah. Well, you see, the thing is, Origi has sometimes flattered to deceive, coming off the left to replace Mane, and down the center, like people tend to forget that Origi won us the Champions League. So I think that there's still something there. He is not the finished article, but he's pretty good. I've seen him live a few times, and he's pretty slick. Against Norwich, he did the job. Against Everton, he did the job. Against Newcastle away last year, he did the job. He did the job against Barcelona. He did the job against Spurs. I mean, sometimes he makes an error here and there, but I don't think he's as bad as people make him out to be. There's always going to be a drop off. Listen, there isn't a player like Mohamed Salah in the world. Okay, there's no replacement for that guy. We saw that against Crystal Palace. Night and day difference, the way he was spreading the game out. His speed. If you watch him live, there are 5 players encircled around him. Okay. He attracts so much attention. The left side of the left midfielder's got his eyes on him. The left center back's got his eyes on him. The left back is basically terrified of him, and then the center midfielders also gravitating towards him. All of those players are circling around Salah, and then you got Firmino dropping in as well. So, in my opinion, it's going to be very hard to find a player who can replace Mohamed Salah if Liverpool decide to, if he's unavailable. That is a problem that is going to exist, and luckily he is very sturdy. And he's very strong, and I don't see a replacement for him easily available in world football right now. I don't see that, and I don't see that speed, and I don't see that destruction. I thought Pulisic is showing something similar to what Salah is showing, which is direct, quick dribbling, straight to the goal. With the right type of mindset. And I'm sorry, but I think Harvey Elliott's incredible. I don't care how young he is. Yeah, I think Harvey Elliott. You saw the little scoop he did the other day when he came on? Like, I don't know if anybody saw. I mean, this kid is the real deal. And look, Rooney was 17. Who says Elliott can't do it at 18? And we're not asking him to start. We're asking him to just replace Salah from here and there. I'm sorry to say this, but Liverpool don't need much. They just need to keep the team together. They need to keep the attitude and the hunger there. Is it good if we sign one big player just to keep everybody on their toes? Yes, but Abito Naby Keita hasn't even given us anything. He hasn't given us anything. He's a 60 million pound player. He still has to give us a lot. Ox still has to give us a lot. So, good times.
Good times. There are some players who might leave. Lovren is one of them. Shaqiri, Lallana. So, we do need to bring in some names. Cantwell is the one linked. There are some names. I mean, Cantwell, I read on The Athletic, James Ornstein has confirmed that Liverpool, he is on the radar. If Norwich gets relegated, he can come in. So, and he has potential. I feel Klopp can, turn him into a player. We had a video with Nosherwan a month ago, and he said, the system in Liverpool is so perfect. Wijnaldum at Newcastle was a different player. When he came in, he adjusted to the system. Wijnaldum looks world class to you. So, same can be said about Cantwell as well.
Well, Liverpool like to shop at relegated clubs. That's what they did with Wijnaldum. That's what they did with Robertson. So Cantwell has been on their radar. He's a good player. I would think that Liverpool should go for him if they still choose to. It's very important for Liverpool to sell Lovren, as I think his time is up. And I think sometimes I respect Lovren. He's Salah's very good friend. I never say anything bad about our players, but sometimes the life cycle of the relationship ends.
No.
And I think that with Mourinho, Mourinho also was with us to the very end, but I think eventually they just have to go. And I think Lovren, he's also a Croatia international, to put a positive spin to it. I don't think he's going to be the number 4 replacement. So he will start. Matip is also quite good. So Lovren can't be that number 4 defender, and I think that it's best if he goes. And a lot of our defeats have coincided with Lovren being in the team. I mean, that's the bottom line. We know that.
Even against Everton, the moment he came in, Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison started attacking from his side. So a lot about Liverpool.
The Watford match. The Watford match.
Yeah, the Watford match. I wish I had something to pop right now on Gary Neville's face. Shahid, a lot about Liverpool. I wanted something about you. Nosherwan told me you've been to a lot of matches, especially a lot of Champions League finals. Your favorite match you've attended and the worst game, your worst experience of watching a Liverpool match. I'm sure there must be one you want to get out of your mind.
Obviously, Istanbul is a big deal for me because I was born on the 26th of May. So the match turned over at midnight in Turkey on the 26th. So it was also my birthday, and my son was 3 years old with me, and it was quite an emotional experience being in Istanbul. It was very emotional. The ones that you lose stay with you more. So Athens, I was really upset about because we played so well. And I don't even think it was a foul when Inzaghi fell down and Pirlo hit the free kick. And that too deflected. So, I mean, वो double bad luck होगी ना. एक तो on the edge of halftime, एक तो वो foul भी नहीं था. उसके बाद deflect होके अंदर चले. And everybody knew कि पहला goal match जीत जाएगा. Final में होता अक्सर यही हुआ. The first goal matters. And then on top of that, he wasn't playing crouch. So I felt that was an opportunity missed in Athens for sure. I was also in the stadium when Liverpool drew with Crystal Palace 3-3. That was not a enjoyable experience, even though that was not the game that cost us the league, like people try to say, because we were trying to win the match by 4 or 5 goals. But obviously, it would have been better if we didn't drop the 2 points at that stage. And then watching Victor Moses miss an open goal from 1 yard out, that really, really hurt as well. So, I mean, that was a tough match to watch. But another Pak Reds, who's a very old Liverpool fan as well, was there, and we had an amazing weekend. Everybody was so happy, And we started the match and we were complete control. It was a perfect weekend. Kiev was a great atmosphere. And then to lose the match the way we did. So these 3 matches, I would say, really, really hurt. Even the FA Cup final, which Carroll's header was cleared off the line, also hurt because I watched that match at much personal expense because my father had just had a stroke, and I still somehow managed to get to that game. And to see Liverpool lose that game hurt as well. So there's been a lot of heartbreak as well, and some great times too.
Yeah, that is so cool for you. I mean, they break your heart, but they've won a lot of hearts now after 30 years. So we're quite excited about that. How did you get your kids to love Liverpool? It's not easy to, enforce sports or your favorite club on your kids. I know a lot of Liverpool fans, my friends in Singapore, they're just worried. They say my son loves Manchester City or United because they can't do anything about it. So how did you get your kids to love Liverpool and football?
I was very worried because a lot of my friends used to make fun of me. And I even wrote about this on Facebook, that they used to tell me, oh, you're going to punish your children and people are going to make fun of them all their lives. Because my kids are 18, 16, and 13, 2 boys and a girl. And they were basically, when they were growing up, and 10 years ago, it was the Hodgson era. And that was pretty bad time to be a Liverpool fan. And I was copping a lot of abuse from people. And they also told me that don't do this, don't make your kids Liverpool fan. But luckily for me, I kept drilling it into them, and I took them to Fulham. And that match when Yassi Benayoun scored in the last minute, and we were in the away fans, my 2 sons became big Liverpool fans after that. Because, you go to a stadium and there's a green grass and the red shirts and the last minute goal. And after that, they were just hooked. And because my sons are fans, my daughter also became a very, very big Liverpool fan. So I've been very lucky that they didn't deviate whatsoever, And my nephew's also a Liverpool fan. Another of my nephews were making a Liverpool fan. One has become a Chelsea fan. So we're trying really, really hard. I work really hard on this. All my kids' friends are Liverpool fans too in school. मैं तो उनको भी कहता हूँ तुम भी Liverpool fan, तुम भी Liverpool fan, so we have a big community, even the friends of my kids. So we're working hard at that. And just thank God. I can say thank God.
Thank God. That is so nice. So how often do you? I think आपने बताया, लेकिन still there's a question. Personal space पे नहीं आया. How often do you visit England or Anfield to watch a football match या Europe? साल में कितनी बार जाते हैं आप?
Well, you see, I have a garment factory, so I export garments, and I go for meetings to Europe often as well. So I try to catch a game, at least 3 or 4 games I try to catch just because of that. Meeting at Liverpool. With my kids, we plan basically the first weekend or the first 2 weekends of the season to have their summer break to coincide with those matches. And then if there's a European final, then obviously I'm going to go to that, because these are once in a lifetime opportunities. I mean, luckily for Liverpool, they're continuing more and more. But the truth is, you can't really miss out on the golden era. And for me, Dalglish was my hero. So when Dalglish was the manager, I tried to watch matches too. And now Klopp, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. If you have the chance to go watch him, how can you not do that? So I tend to, this season I watched almost 10 matches, and mashallah, but tend to watch like 4 to 5 in a season, just trying to pick up and go to the games. And it's a great experience. And, I'm hoping that we can take more people from Pakistan and give them that experience of going to the stadium and getting them hooked. And it increases the love of football too. So if it increases the love of football, maybe that for the football culture can improve in our country as well.
My next question: how can one go visit Anfield from Pakistan? I mean, to be honest, I was studying in England. Unfortunately, for some reason, I couldn't go to Anfield. I saw Liverpool at Villa Park, and I'm very angry at Brendan Rodgers for not playing Steven Gerrard that day. I mean, it was January 2015. Gerrard did not play. We won thanks to a goal from Lambert, and I think it was Coutinho at Villa Park. But how can one go from Pakistan to Anfield? What is the procedure? I mean, there are a lot of people watching. They want to know. It's a dream to visit England and watch the Premier League.
Mohsen, I couldn't hear you. Can you type the question if possible, please?
Okay. Can you? Sorry, I just heard.
How Pakistani fans go to watch Anfield game. Well, if you're a Liverpool fan, what we're really trying to do. Can you hear me, by the way?
I can.
I hope so. Yeah, okay. If you're a Liverpool fan, what we're trying to do is we're basically trying to use the club to give us at least 4 to 5 tickets per game to, or at least 2 or 3 times a year. Noshan's really working very hard with the club to do that, so that we can give that experience to some of our fans. Now, last time we did take 2 or 3 fans who were studying, our Pak Reds, who were studying in the UK at that time. So visa ka itna zyada problem nahi hua. But as we move forward, next time we would hope to take fans from Pakistan. So 2 fans actually did travel from Islamabad for that Arsenal game, and then 3 of them, Hamza and Bisma, were in London at the time. So the best we can do is we can provide the tickets to the match at face value. I mean, that is really what we're really a lot too. And the tickets were in the COP. They were pretty high up, but still the experience was available. As we continue to develop, we will try to work with the club to even take that to another level, in which maybe they can sponsor like a fan trip over there. So that's something that once COVID ends, that should be one of our goals, to have at least a couple of trips a year. Luckily, Istanbul was very lucky for us because it was also on 14th August, so it was a holiday, and also the visa was not an issue, so we took like a good 15, 20 fans. We had a great experience. For the first time for fans to watch Liverpool, it's very valuable, and for us, it's not good enough for just us to watch Liverpool. We want to make sure our Pak Reds get the experience as well.
There's a question.
Klopp? No, I have not met Klopp, but I will tell you, I have met, my daughter met Hendo, and I met Virgil van Dijk he was having dinner at, he was having it at Nobu or one of these Japanese restaurants, and I went and met him, and I got a picture with him, and I have to tell you, I was so impressed by him. Why? He was drinking nothing but water. Okay, not even a Coke, not even a Pepsi. Supreme discipline. We just won the Palace match, and utmost professional, very focused, and he was there with his wife, and just you feel that these players are ready to go to the next level and will stay there because of their commitment to their craft. Any other questions?
Can you
can type them. I don't know what happened to the voice.
You can't hear me. Sorry.
Can't hear you still, so you're gonna have to type.
Okay.
Next season's expectations. Okay. This is a very good question, actually. This is a very good question. Why? We're going to be at least 20 points ahead of these guys. Okay. So let's look at this from a statistical point of view. Let's not look at this from emotions. Can 20 points get turned around? Can 40 points get turned around? If United think they're going to win the league, are we Leicester? Are we going to let 40 points get turned around? This is not the first time we're going to play the Champions League. Leicester and Blackburn back in the mid-90s, they had a disastrous season after winning the league because they were not used to playing in the Champions League, and that strained them to no end. We will be used to the Champions League, so I think that this 40-point turnaround is not occurring. A 20-point turnaround is also very, very ambitious, considering they have a lot of problems as well. Their team life cycle is ending. However, it could be, I think it's going to be a very close season. I think it's going to be more similar to last year. And I think that what's going to happen is that it's going to go to the wire between us and City. And I think Wolves are going to be up there. And I've been saying this for a long time. Wolverhampton Wanderers are the next upcoming club. They have money and they can spend it. Play kids for remaining season or go for 100 points. Both. I would say go for the 100 points with the 5 substitutions, play the kids as well. Very important to give the kids time. Extremely important. Nico needs time. Harvey needs time. I do both. I try to give them 20 minutes in each game, but I'd start the team match with our best players. And just to say, next season expectations is to win the Champions League, inshallah, and also win the league again. Okay, next question. Your message for Liverpool fans. Um, this is a great time. Enjoy it, and don't troll too much, and don't listen to trolls on the internet too much, and don't speculate about signings too much, and don't complain about the players. Stop complaining about the players. If Jurgen Klopp trusts that player to be on that pitch, then he deserves to be on that pitch. If Jurgen Klopp trusts to sign that player, then he deserves to be. Are you smarter than Jurgen Klopp? It's the doubters to believers, guys, and stop thinking that you're smarter than the manager who spent his entire life doing this and that you know better. You weren't at training in the morning. You didn't see the entire match. You don't know what mood the player was in. You don't know nothing. And you're telling us this guy should do that, this guy should do that. Most of the time, it's a logical decision. If the manager is making the logical decision and it looks like the logical decision, it makes sense. But for God's sake, he knows what he's doing. So please, no doubt towards Klopp, and no complaining about our players, like complaining about Hendo. He's so precious, and people are complaining about him because he has a role to play in the team, and the manager knows best. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Thanks for taking time. I wish you can come again. I should do it. Okay, sure. Thank you. I'm sorry about the connectivity. I tried my best to get all the messages through. And thank you for being patient with me as well. And thank you for having me. It's a great honor. You're doing a great job. I love this this interaction. And I think that this is amazing, this initiative that you've taken. And I'm here to support you at any time you need me. I'll come on 1 minute's notice. This is a great initiative, and I love it. And I really enjoyed myself. Thank you so much.
Okay, guys. So sorry, we've had a bit of technical glitches, and it's a very long video. So, guys, thank you so much. Stay tuned. Give the fans chance to subscribe, like, and if you want us to cover any other special personality guest, please do let us know. We'll try to do our best and bring them in. And we can also have you live on the show. So, guys, thank you so much from me to all the Liverpool fans. A big Y and W. You'll never walk alone. It's been very tough. And like Mr. Shahid said, that, do not throw the banters too much. You know, observe humility, stay humble, and always stay loyal. You're supporting the club in the best of their times right now. But fans like Mr. Shahid, he's been supporting the club for like more than 40 years now, I believe. So he's been through the hard and thick of it. So, guys, I was very emotional when Liverpool won the league. So let's see. I think Liverpool doesn't have much to play for. Inshallah, we'll cover other clubs as well apart from Liverpool. The FA Cup is here. The Champions League is going to start in the end of July or probably start of August. We have a lot of things coming up happening in La Liga, Serie A, and the transfer windows. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the Fans Chance. Hopefully, I'll be with my team next time. Apologize for technical glitches. Technology can be a headache sometimes, but this is the best we have. So, guys, thank you. Take care. Stay tuned. Next video of Fans Chance. Allah Hafiz.